Good evening and welcome to City News. I'm Brandon Rowe. After only 9 days as Prime Minister, Mark Carney has pulled the trigger for a snap election, and Canadians will head to the polls this spring. We're joined live now by our Carling Donahue. Now, federal party leaders will be sprinting to the polls as they get ready for the snap election. But the big question is, when will Canadians head to the polls to vote?
Yeah, Brendan, it is definitely an exciting time in Canadian politics. It's official. Canadians, they're heading to the polls on April 28th, and that's because Mark Carney has made the call for a snap federal election, which is bringing an end to the longest-running minority government in Canadian history.
I've just requested that the Governor-General dissolve Parliament and call an election for April 28th.
Mark Carney meeting with Governor-General Mary Simon at Rideau Hall Sunday morning, kicking off the race for Prime Minister.
There is so much more to do to secure Canada, to invest in Canada, to build Canada, to unite Canada. That's why I'm asking for a strong, positive mandate from my fellow Canadians.
It was just 9 days ago that Carney stood on the same grounds for the swearing in of his new and now potentially short-lived ministry. Now, instead of returning to Parliament Monday, MPs and the candidates looking to oust them are on the campaign trail, one that's expected to largely be focused on who can best handle relations with the Trump administration.
President Trump claims that Canada isn't a real country. He wants to break us so America can own us. We will not let that happen.
Carney stating how the Liberals plan to use all the money from Canada's retaliatory tariffs to help Canadians affected by Trump's tax hikes. He's also announced how the party plans to implement a middle-class tax cut should they win the election.
We will cut the lowest income tax bracket by 1 percentage point. For a middle-class tax cut that will benefit a two-income family by up to $825 a year.
Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has repeatedly portrayed Carney as a leader ill-equipped to deal with Trump. Speaking just prior to Carney's election call, he also made a plea to voters to avoid what he's calling, quote, another lost Liberal decade.
10 years of Liberals hiking taxes and blocking resource projects has pushed $500 billion to the United States, given us the worst growth in the entire G7. And all of this was before the tariffs of Donald Trump. Now, desperate for a fourth term, Liberals have replaced Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and hand-picked successor, Mark Carney. But a Liberal is a Liberal is a Liberal.
The federal NDP also kicking off their campaign today, again focusing on Trump and affordability across the country.
Because of Donald Trump's illegal trade war, things are getting even more expensive. Thousands of Canadians are losing their jobs. The people who built this country are paying the greatest price, and that's not fair. They deserve a government that has their backs. You deserve a government that has your back, and we will fight like hell to make sure that happens.
Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet, meantime, used his party's campaign kickoff to urge voters to give the Bloc the balance of power in a potential minority government. When asked about his party slipping in the polls after Justin Trudeau's resignation, Blanchet answered,
I read Newton. What goes up goes down. If that's good for me, that's good for Mr. Carney.
The federal Green Party also launching its campaign today, co-leaders Jonathan Pedneau and Elizabeth May speaking in Montreal in an all-French address. Pedneau took aim at Carney for canceling the consumer carbon tax, saying climate change remains a pressing issue. He will be the face of the party's campaign through the upcoming election.
So, Carlin, we know when the election will be held, but I guess the big question now for Mark Carney, who is new to politics, is which riding will he be running in?
Yeah, Brandon, he is very new to politics, but he's already figured out the riding. It's Nepean, and that is just outside of Ottawa, just south of the Ottawa River. And it was actually very close by to where Carney currently lives. He's residing in Ottawa. Now, the riding it is currently held by MP Chandra Arya, who actually just had his nomination to run again revoked. That decision actually came just 2 months after the party also told Arya that it would not accept him as a candidate for Liberal leadership. So Carney says he has a very long-standing relationship with this riding of, once again, Nepean, and he's excited to get to know voters in the area.